I now hand the conference over to Mr. Manish Mahawar of Antique Stock Broking. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Aisha. On behalf of Antique Stock Broking, I would like to welcome all the participants on the call of Sharda Cropchem. From the management, we have Mr. R.V. Bubna, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Abhinav Agarwal, CFO, and Mr. Dinesh Nahar, GM Finance on the call. Without further ado, I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Bubna for opening remarks. Over to Bubna ji.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to everyone present here for the earnings call of Sharda Cropchem Limited for Q1 FY21. Sharda Cropchem is represented by myself, Ram Prakash Bubna, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Abhinav Agarwal, Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. Dinesh Nahar, General Manager Finance. Talking briefly about our Q1 FY21 results, revenues declined by 7.5% year to year from rupees 421 crores to rupees 389 crores, mainly due to degrowth in Europe by 3.1%, NAFTA region by 10%, and rest of the world by 36%. On the other hand, LATAM grew by 28%. Our volumes declined by 3.7% year to year. Gross profits grew marginally by 1% year to year from rupees 115 crores to rupees 116 crores. The gross margin expanded by 250 bps from 27.4% to 29.9%, mainly due to decline in the raw material costs. EBITDA declined by 16.5% from rupees 58.2 crores to rupees 48.6 crores. EBITDA margin contracted by 130 bps from 13.8% to 12.5%, mainly due to rise in other expenses. Profit after tax grew by 22.6% year to year from rupees 22.8 crores to rupees 27.9 crores. PAT margin during the quarter. PAT margin during the quarter expanded by 117 bps from 5.8% to 7.2% due to rise in foreign exchange gains from rupees 2.48 crores to rupees 13.47 crores, coupled with decline in taxes from rupees 11.5 crores compared to rupees 6.8 crores, owing to lower effective tax rate, which was 34% versus 20%. Net working capital days improved from 99 days to 89 days due to prudent working capital management. With this brief overview, I would now like to hand over the call to our CFO, Mr. Abhinav Agarwal, for discussing other aspects of financial performance. Over to Mr. Abhinav Agarwal.
Thank you, sir. A very good afternoon to all. I will give you a brief about the Q1 FY21 performance. During the quarter, our revenue declined by 7.5%. This was due to a volume fall of 3.7% and price realization fall of 8.2%. On the other hand, the company experienced a foreign exchange gain of 4.4%. During Q1 FY21, our agrochemical business revenue fell by 2.4% year-on-year. Europe and NAFTA declined by 5.9% and 6.8% respectively. On the other hand, LATAM and ROW grew by 25.5% and 2.8% respectively. Our non-agricultural business revenue declined by 22.8% due to overall fall in industrial, mining, construction and port activities. We incurred a capex of 71 crores this quarter vis-a-vis 39 crores in the last year. Thank you. We now open the floor for questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We would request the participants to please press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Chetan Thakkar from ASK Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chetan.
Sir, just wanted the volume data by region, and second was wanted to understand the reason for higher other expense in the current quarter.
I'll first give you the volume data for this quarter. In Europe, the volume was 28,31,078 kgs or liter, as compared to 29,63,791, which is a decline of 4.5%. In NAFTA, it was 15,45,741 as compared to 19,02,256, which is a decline of about 19%. LATAM, it was 788,801 compared to 5,58,780, which is a growth of 41.2%. The rest of the world, the volume was 5,196 compared to 4,58,060, which is a growth of 9.2%. Overall, it is a decline by 3.7%.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sir.
Thank you. We would request the participants to please press star and one to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rohan Gupta from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Bubna ji, hi sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rohan.
Sir, first question is on this Europe performance. Which has shown a significant decline in revenues in the quarter, almost 5% volume decline. While we were anticipating Europe should be a contributing factor for the current year. So any particular reason in Europe for this volume decline?
Rohan ji, I'm going to catch up with you, but please speak a little louder. Rohan, it is a decline of 4.5%, which we cannot call as a very significant. It can be even a small aberration here or there between one month to another month or one country to other country. Overall, I don't think that we can point out something very glaring to attribute to this decline. And
No, sir, my question was that this is a Europe region from where we were expecting a strong growth in the current year. While starting for the year Q1, though it's not something very significant, but it is still a muted growth, or I mean, it's a decline of 5 to 6% in revenue. So there is no particular reason in that, and you see that the growth picking up in rest of the year.
Sir, I agree, but I don't think that we were saying that we will have a very strong growth in the first quarter. I mean, it has just happened. I don't have any other specific factor to point out to you. I would say that it has just happened.
Okay. Sir, this price drop in the quarter, average realization -8%, which you mentioned. So, sir, we see that the prices across the region have started actually going up, and for most of the product prices have gone up. So, do you see that this trend of negative realization is continuing, or you see that the prices have started going up from June, July, and going forward it will be positive trend?
See, I don't think that we can draw any conclusions from the figures obtained in quarter one. I would feel that the situation will remain stable. It could grow a few percent up, or it can decline a few percent down, but there is no clear trend.
So how are the raw material prices are behaving for you? Just to ask clearly, in China, that chemical prices are moving up, stable, or they are lower compared to last year?
China, the raw material prices are having a tendency to go down.
They are going down?
Yes, sir. Of course, it depends from product to product, but
Yeah.
The general trend is going down.
Okay. And in terms of availability of raw material from China, sir, of the chemical, it is completely resumed, or it is still having some impact? And what under COVID-19 globally, it is still going on. So are there any issues or any revenue loss you have seen because of that, or the situation is absolutely normal as far as your business is concerned, despite COVID-19 pandemic is still going on?
I mean, are you asking me in context of China or the whole world?
Sir, both.
Okay.
Raw material availability also from China and in the global market demand.
See, we feel that the availability is also improving in China. There's a shorter time of shipments from the order to the shipments, and the prices are also going downwards. And one of the reasons which I presume is because of the confusion and a lot of mess that is happening around the globe because of this COVID-19. The demand from major sectors are probably on the decline, and that is having a positive effect for us in China. Now, talking of the whole world, I think that the world cannot say that they are not affected. A lot of countries are facing a lot of problems, and there is a confusion. As of now, we don't see any ray of hope of improvements. We'll be happy if the current situation continues or gets stabilized.
Okay. Sir, a couple of questions more if I can just squeeze in. Sir, on this LATAM market, you have seen a significant growth in the current quarter, almost 40% in terms of volume and 25% sort of revenue growth you have mentioned. So, once again, you see that any trend or any particular reason or early start of the season in LATAM, or it is just a normal season? There is no extraordinary event played out in the quarter driving this kind of growth.
See, Rohan, this is percentage-wise growth of 41%. But if you see the figures, it is only about 230,000 compared to the whole global figures of 56 lakhs and 58 lakhs. So I think the things are normal. There is not no something very significantly bright we can attribute it to. But the things are normal. It is slightly on the improvement compared to previous year.
Okay. And sir, just last thing. Sir, we have seen that global or many countries have reacted very negatively against China after this COVID thing. Your entire raw material definitely is coming from China, which distributors and dealers across the world are definitely aware. Just asking, have you seen any of your distributor, dealer complaining or giving you any kind of backlash that we don't want to do the business with you because your material coming from China? Have any of this trend? Have you started noticing any such things because of the anger which global markets have against China?
Mr. Rohan, not at all. In fact, people are very happy, they are very eager if they can get a quality product at a reasonable price. This kind of hatred that we see in the media is not going on at the ground level in most of the world. In India, we do send some kind of feelings at the ground level, at the consumer level, and that can be because of we being neighbors and we having some disputes and other things. But rest of the world is not at all affected by this sentiment, including United States of America as on date. The goods are being asked for, called for, and accepted in a very normal way.
And your business in US, which was impacted by additional duties imposed, is how it is? It's getting normalized. It's coming back to track, or it is still facing higher taxes in US, and you're not able to increase the revenue from the US market?
So the taxes, it's a well-known fact that taxes are continuing to be at the very high level, and that is creating a lot of inconvenience for everybody in the chain, including companies like us who are exporting, and the distributors, retailers, everybody is having a complaint about the higher prices and the same not being passed on to their finished products, and that is agricultural production. So this situation continues.
Thank you, Bubna ji. Thank you very much, sir, for answering all these questions.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one now. The next question is from the line of Rohit Nagraj from Sunidhi Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So just taking forward the question from earlier participant on the China sourcing side. So how much has been our sourcing from China, and has it declined over the last few years? And if there is any strategy to shift part of it from the domestic market, that is in India, or probably give opportunity to few players in terms of the RM sourcing.
What is your good name, sir?
Rohit Nagraj, sir.
Mr. Rohit, our situation remains the same. Our sourcing is more than 95% from China, and if at all there could be an increase of 1 or 2% in this range because of better availability and better prices. And as far as our company is concerned, we go by what is the requirement of the business, and we do not have any better alternate sources as on today, considering the prices and availability and the quality.
All right, sir. So, and the second question, is there any sizable decline which has been observed in some of our markets, or there has been some postponement of demand from the Q1 to Q2?
It's very difficult to comment, Mr. Rohit, but we do not see any significant trend or a significant factor to answer your question.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, and best of luck, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bharat Gupta from Edelweiss Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking out the question. I have a couple of questions. First is in regard to the NAFTA market. So are we seeing that there has been like inventory overhang kind of a situation out there in the market?
It could be. It could be.
And sir, what's the outlook like in terms of the visibility of growth? Like, is the season will get delayed, particularly in regions pertaining to NAFTA? Are we seeing that kind of a situation out there in the market?
No, sir. We feel that the situation will become better compared to what it has been in the first quarter.
Okay. And sir, is it possible to share the gross margins across the region?
Just 1 minute. Yes, sir. The gross margin was 36.3% in Europe, 23.5% in NAFTA, 28.4% in LATAM, and 21.6% in rest of the world. Overall, 29.9%. If you want, I can give you the figures for the same figures for the last year's quarter one.
Sure, sir.
Europe was 36.1%, so there is an improvement of 0.2% in Europe. NAFTA 19.2% to 23.5%. So there is a significant growth in the margin, about 4.3% in NAFTA. LATAM, it has remained constant, 28.6% last year and 28.4% this year. Rest of the world also more or less the same, 22% last year and 21.6% this year. Overall, 27.4% last year and 29.9% this year.
Sure, sir. That's really helpful. My second question is in regard to the Latin American market. So, sir, we have heard like about the commentaries made by the global players. So there are some kind of a currency tailwind in regions pertaining to Brazil, Argentina. So how are we looking at the scenario currently? Like we have shown a good amount of growth in this quarter. So do we see that the growth going forward can have an impact of a negative currency impact in the subsequent quarter?
Sir, we have not come across any such glaring factors, but we feel that the economies of this region are in big trouble, partly because of politics and partly because of many other factors. And they continue to remain the same in the last 6 months to our knowledge.
And sir, coming on to the gross margin side, so do we expect the gross margin for the full year to remain like in the range of 32% to 34%?
Beg your pardon?
Sir, for the gross margin for the full year, like you have said that there has been some softness in the raw material prices.
Yes.
So do we foresee that the gross margin for the full year can remain in the range of 32 to 34%?
I think it should be. We should be able to do that.
Sure, sir. That's it from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Chetan Thakkar from ASK Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
So this follow-up question was on higher other expense, the reason for higher other expense. And second is, when do we start seeing the benefit of the Euro INR in our numbers?
Sir, it is, to my knowledge, the things have happened about 1.5 months back, and we are getting benefits of this, but we do not know how long will it last. We are getting direct benefit and almost instant benefit.
So, sir, there will be some amount of plain hedging, vanilla hedging that we do. So that would have impacted to some extent in Q1. So probably the full positive impact, assuming currency stays here, will be visible as we go forward. That would be a fair understanding?
Sir, I have not understood your question very completely, but I can also comment without understanding your question that initially we were not able to take advantage of this increase in the cross currency rate of euro versus dollar because of forward contracts. And we booked not more than 25% to 30% of actual requirement. So the impact has not been very much adverse also. And now we are getting very good rate, I mean euro rupee rate and euro dollar rate, and it's very comfortable and we are very happy about it. And we hope this will continue. This will continue.
Hopefully, sir, keeping fingers crossed. And
Yes.
for the other expense, just wanted to understand the reason for higher other expense in this quarter.
1 minute. See, among higher other expenses, first is the freight and forwarding expenses because of this COVID-19, and in order to meet our targets, we had to airlift a good quantity of the products, and even the airfares were almost 100% more than we were paying the same fares last year. So one is this freight and forward. Then second is legal and professional charges. The lawyers are becoming very expensive, and all the professionals are becoming very expensive.
So sir, इसमें से ये
Third is commission on the sales and incentives that we provide to our team of salespeople. And then there are some other expenses, and another thing is writing off of intangible assets and intangible assets under development.
Okay.
This has been also a significant contributor to the other expenses increase.
So that was 1 crore, right? The intangible write-off in this quarter.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so on the freight side, out of 60 crore for other expense, how much was paid for freight and forwarding? क्योंकि उसमें से एक ये पार्ट जो महंगा है एयर फ्रेट वाला था वो हट जाएगा. So just wanted to understand that.
Freight and forwarding should be about 10 crores.
Okay. ये 10 crore में some bit will go off because now the lines would operate normally, so this airlifting bit would be out.
Hopefully, but we cannot say because the agricultural being a seasonal product and depending upon the weathers, we sometimes receive requirements and demands at a very short notice, which is not predicted by our down the line people, distributors and retailers, and also the farmers.
Got it. And so what was the same number, 10 crore in the last year, same quarter?
It would have been about 8 crores.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. All the best.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We would request the participants to please press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Somaya V from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. Sir, on the Europe and NA market, was there any kind of a weather-related issue that impacted Europe? We heard some dry weather impacts. Was that impacting numbers in Q1? And also in North America, was there any kind of a pre-buying that happened in Q4 that kind of impacted Q1?
Sir, 1 minute. First of all, I couldn't get your name. The lady was announcing. What is your good name, sir?
Somaya V, sir.
Somaya.
Yeah.
And Somaya, no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Like Kirish Somaya. The same, sir, family name, no?
Somaya V. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you asked me a question that whether it was a carry forward of. Can you repeat your question?
Yes, sir. My question. Yes, sir. So in Europe, was there any kind of a dry weather impact that we saw in Q1?
We did.
Okay.
In some of the regions and countries, the weather was dry, and the weather was also not convenient. In other cases, the time of application was shortened. So we did have these kind of complaints.
Got it, sir. And in North America, because of this COVID thing, did we see Q4 getting a kind of a pull forward benefit and that kind of impacted Q1?
No, I don't think so. Those people are not so much far-sighted. Most of the customers and our customers in North America, if they want a product, they want it yesterday. And if you tell them that the goods are in transit and it's coming after a week, then they don't call up next time. They get it from somebody else. So they don't plan for such a long thing.
Got it, sir. So, and were there good pricing gains in North America YOY? Because between a 19% volume decline and whereas the overall decline in NA was around only 6%. So it's a lot to do with effects, or we also had pricing gains on a YOY basis.
See, we have a big portfolio of products, So in some products, there has been a pricing gain. And on some products, because of this is purely a factor of demand and supply. And it varies from product to product. It's very difficult to generalize it.
Okay, sir. Sir, you mentioned that, in terms of RM prices easing from China, is it something structural as in, availability or new capacity has come in, so that is driving it? Or is it something which is because of a lower offtake or lower demand is probably driving this improvement?
I would say that the second statement that you made is more responsible. There is no excess or overcapacity being generated in China at this part of the year of this thing, mainly because of the COVID fears and corona and all those things. But subsidizing of the demand from various parts of the world could play a more important role in the easing of the prices.
Got it, sir. Sir, and the non-agri bit, the non-agri segment, I think though your agri declined 2%, it's the non-agri that led to overall decline of 8%. Any thoughts on the outlook for this given the COVID times? How you're expecting this to span out?
Sir, it is slowly improving.
Okay, sir. Then what would be the kind of gross margins or EBITDA margins for this non-agri segment?
1 minute. The non-agri segment, overall, the gross margins have dropped from 17.6% to 16.1%.
Okay.
So that's about, I think, 7-8%, or could be 6-7%.
Got it, sir. Sir, just if I can, just a couple of bookkeeping questions. So one, you would spend close to 70 crores of capex this quarter. So can we take it as a bit of front loading this quarter, and the year capex would be normal as previous years? The full year capex.
Sir, I think that we will end up this year with higher capex compared to last year.
And roughly what would be the outlook, sir, on the capex?
Sir, first of all, registration process is filled up with so much of uncertainty. It is very difficult to predict. You cannot plan, and all the planning goes topsy-turvy because of so much of uncertainties which are built up in the process of registrations. We are dependent upon the weathers, the field trials, and the bureaucracies in all over the world. The government committees, government authorities taking up or giving priority or not priority. There are so many things. I would not like to take more of your time on this. So it is very difficult to plan. There's no trend like this. The only trend is the cost of the services are increasing month by month and quarter by quarter. The government charges, the ministry charges are getting multiplied for the same evaluation from year to year. So the process is becoming more and more expensive, and uncertainty continues.
Got it. Sir, any thoughts on the tax rate on an annual basis, your outlook?
Tax rate, I think that is decided by the government of India, but let me see. We have predicted the effective tax rate to be between 25 to 30%.
Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you. Thanks for taking it.
Okay.
Thank you. We would request the participants to please press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rohit Nagraj from Sunidhi Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the follow-up. So, for this quarter, almost 1.5 months has gone by. So, how are we seeing the trends in the market?
The trends are good. Nothing that I can comment, nothing that I can complain.
All right, sir. That's helpful. Sir, in last quarter, we had given our guidance in terms of revenue growth and EBITDA margin. Revenue growth of about 5 to 10% and EBITDA margins of 17 to 18%. And given our Q1 performance, do we like to revise the guidance based on the current outlook?
Sir, I have not understood. I would request you to speak a little slow and louder.
Sure. So last quarter, we had given revenue growth guidance for this year of about 5 to 10% and EBITDA margins of about 17 to 18%. And so post Q1 numbers, do we want to revise the guidance based on the current performance and the outlook for the rest of the year?
No, sir.
All right. And the capex guidance also, last quarter we had indicated about 175 to 200 crores. And first quarter we had done almost 70 odd crores. So you have also mentioned about the uncertainties related to regulatory approvals, etc. But would this be in the similar range, or it may go, beyond this range?
As on today, I feel we'll be in the same range.
All right, sir. That's helpful. Thanks a lot and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. We would request the participants to please press star and 1 to ask a question. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Deepak Kole from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Sir, can you please provide a geography-wise breakup for the registration pipeline?
Just 1 minute. You asked me for the registration pipeline?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. For Europe, about 700. NAFTA, 115. LATAM, 130. And rest of the world, 70. Total about 1020.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That is from my side. Thank you very much, sir.
We would request the participants to please press star and one to ask a question. May we request the participants to please press star and one to ask a question. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Manish Mahawar for closing comments.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, thanks, Aisha. On behalf of Antique Stock Broking, I would like to thank management of Sharda Cropchem for providing us an opportunity to host the call. Bubna ji, would you like to make any closing comments, sir?
No, sir. Actually, I have some other commitment in the next 10 minutes. I would say that the company's business is going normal. Fortunately, we are not affected by this COVID-19, as is the case with almost 70 to 80% of the industries and companies globally and in India. So we have been very fortunate to have been spared by the negative effect of this COVID, and I am thankful to God for this situation. And as on date, we see that this should continue, unless, of course, something absolutely unexpected happens, like what is happening in South China, and a lot of politicians are talking about World War III or something very disastrous. Then, of course, we have to keep our fingers crossed. As on today, I think for us, the business is normal. Thank you, Manish.
Thank you. On behalf of Antique Stock Broking, that concludes today's conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Thank you.